So, very quickly, I forgot to actually do look at this during the video, so I'm just going to chuck it at the very start of the video. So, this is your Mount Sharphorn. So, it's a little summon you actually get. You have to craft it at the tanning station, skinning station thing, what's that one's called. But yes, it's quite literally just a goat mount sort of thing you can summon. Few things to know is it kind of can be a bit wonky at times, and also getting onto it if it will. So yeah, it kind of does have it on the side sort of thing, but as is all in all, it is cool. I mean, it's a summonable mount, so obviously it's not technically infinite, but you can summon over and over again. Normally these don't exactly despawn as you're riding them. They go for like about 2 minutes, but it's like I'll show very quickly. It's still there, so it's only until you get off of these that they actually despawn, but as is nice addition as well with this mod for that reason. It is sort of like that Dwarven style type of thing, as is I do my favourite part of this is literally it sits there chewing sort of while you're with it, or if it's sort of idled sort of thing. And there we go. Oh, no, it's not going to despawn. There we go. So there we go, that's the funnily enough, the one bit I completely forgot about, because as I will just very quickly say with this, the mod is amazing. Welcome back everyone. So today we're having a look at the mod Dwarven Knight Armor and Mount. So before we get into this, I will say I'm more used to doing Fallout 4 mods, so obviously in Skyrim mods are slightly different, because looking at weapons, armor, stats and stuff is slightly different to Fallout 4 stuff, because obviously they're a lot more moddable. This stuff's more just increasing stats and whatnot, not sort of thing. Anyway, as is, just very quick note on that one. Also, I do have max stats for this stuff, so just for that, I'll have to try and remember to always say that during looking at the armor rating for these armors and stuff. So it's just another thing I've actually got to try and remember for myself. Anyway, so I've been mucking around with this mod for a few hours, and I've learned a few things along the way. One thing I must say is I cannot praise this enough. I honestly cannot. The more and more I look at this, just the more phenomenal stuff I find. So you may be able to see right away, the Khajiit ears are actually sticking out through the arm. There is no pieces sort of on the helmet there to like block out the ears. Now, I don't remember ever seeing any type of modded armor before / base game armor that actually does this. Now, yes, these are heavy. I will say yes, obviously the heavy armor sort of thing. So I'm more of a light armor user myself, but this is probably the only mod I've ever seen that actually has the ear holes type of things for Khajiit, which that is just phenomenal for that reason. When you think about it, it makes no sense that Khajiit would be wearing helmets for long periods of time with the ears sort of being crushed underneath the helmet type thing. So honestly, that attention to detail there is just absolutely phenomenal. Because I mean, it's just literally the little bits cut out, but it's that fine little detail which is just is phenomenal. I literally just can't praise this enough for something like that, because that is, as I said, literally just an amazing attention to detail. Anyway, we'll have a proper look at all the armor stuff in a minute, but for now we'll have a look at the stats. So for this to craft this, you will need ebony, smithing skill. So for the knight armor, you'll need 5 ebony ingots, 3 leather strips, 2 leather, and 1 dwarven ingot. For the boots, you need 2 ebony, 1 leather, and 2 dwarven ingots. For the gauntlets, you need 1 ebony, 2 leather strips, and 2 dwarven ingots. For the helmet, you need 2 ebony and 2 dwarven ingots. For the mace, you'll need 3 ingots, or ebony ingots, 1 leather strip, and 2 dwarven ingots. For the dwarven knight shield, you'll need 1 iron ingot, 1 ebony ingot, 4 firewood, which will say, really, again, another great attention to detail sort of thing there. It's got wood in it. And I don't think, again, any other shield actually requires wood to craft, like the iron shield one. That shows it has wood, but you don't need any wood for it. Anyway, 1 leather strip, which again will You can see on the back there, it's got a leather strip. Phenomenal. And 2 Dwarven ingots. For the Warhammer, you need 1 iron ingots, 2 ebony ingots, 3 leather strips, and 2 Dwarven ingots. Now, there are a few other pieces. You have to go down here to miscellaneous. Right, sort of middle to the bottom, depending on what stuff you have unlocked. I've gone past it. There it is. So, funnily enough, I've been playing with this mod for a few hours. I was looking at the sort of stuff. I'll show what it looks like before I even realized that about the cloak, the skirt, and the shoulder pads. But I was literally thinking this mod already looked cool enough, but would make it even sicker would be a cloak, which how I found out about this was actually, so I was doing the Dark Brotherhood quest where you have to go assassinate A Vinci, and I was trying to make some telekinesis arrows, which are made in the miscellaneous thing, or section. So I was looking through, luckily I had the right material for something like this. Then I saw it, and I was just like, oh my god, this is phenomenal. For that reason, literally the cloak is what we needed, and yes, amazing enough, we do have this. As this really nice cloak as well. Anyway, so for this you'll need 2 leather strips and 4 leather. For the skirt, you'll need 2 ebony ingots, 1 leather, and 2 Dwarven ingots. And then for the shoulder pads, you'll need 2 ebony ingots, 4 leather strips, and 2 Dwarven ingots. So for armor rating, again, armor rating is maxed out for the skill set. So with the shield you come up with 199, and without the shield you have 154. The weapons will also be increasing these. So the mace comes in with 20, and the Warhammer is 28. Just note as well, I got more in one-handed and less in two-handed. I am trying to level that stuff up still, so just take note of that stuff. The stats won't be exactly the same, kind of like I said earlier. I do more Fallout 4 stuff, so I don't take any perks that sort of increase them on that, and I do use one-handed weapons for this character, daggers and stuff, so it's naturally going to level up along the way anyway. So let's have a look how much this stuff does increase, and again, everything is essentially maxed out for what you're going to get. So for the mace, that goes up to 32. Oh, we don't have enough for the Warhammer, unfortunately, but anyway, so that goes up to 40. Not bad. So that's still going to be about 8 different. So yeah, again, not bad. So for the armor itself, oh, we cannot. Oh, that's right. I need more ingots with me. Anyway, so it goes up to 97. Is that about the? So okay. So where's legendary? So what's actually? Okay. I didn't even realize. So it's the same as Daedric armor then. Huh. It's actually on par. I'll have to actually go back and have a look at that, because I have those armor pieces just to show, as is that everything works really well, like with no clipping and stuff, but I'm wondering now if it's actually all scaled to Daedric armor stuff. That's actually pretty cool then. Another thing I've just found out. There we go, so that goes up to 40, goes up to 40 as well, the helmet goes up to 47, and then shield goes up to 59. So, very quickly let's have another look at that. So, with that, so yeah, boots at 26. Okay, yes, so they are. So, the armor rating is... Damn, Daedric stuff still looks so cool. Anyway, but yes, the armor rating is on par, or essentially the same as Daedric. So that's actually really cool, as is for that. As is phenomenal sort of thing. So it's essentially... looks absolutely sick anyway, but it's also on par with the best armor. So what I was also talking about armor, we'll sort of zoom out here a little bit. So what I was talking about, as is earlier with sort of everything working well, so you put on Dragon Bone. So some things kind of do and don't clip. So you can still see there at the moment, depending on how you're standing, so it's like that, the skirt thing there. I don't know, again, I don't know if that's technically a skirt or a hip plate type of thing, but like You can take that off, but I liked having all that stuff on. But put a bit more, try and get a bit more light in here for a moment. This might be too bright. Ooh, okay, yeah, no, that's horrible. Why can't we change the color of mage lights? Why is it going to be that really bright white? Anyway, so yes, depending on how you're standing, it doesn't really clip on that. And also, that looks really cool. The spikes coming out, no, obviously when you get really, really close, that does slightly clip depending on how you're standing there. So yeah, it kind of does clip, but again, if you're back here, you're not going to see that. So all in all, that's really good stuff there. What about with the Daedric armor? Yeah, honestly, Daedric armor does, but doesn't really work with it. So the skirt on the Daedric armor does clip through the actual skirt of that, and obviously the shoulder pad things. But again, you could always take those off. Skull armor, same sort of thing. Just a little bit of clipping here and there. What about... There we go. Ebony. Not bad. Little bit of clipping, but again, that doesn't matter too much. I'd probably have to say, honestly, Dragon Bone kind of works the best if you're going to use something else. Although, what if I was currently at a wedding, even that, like, you could chuck out the skirt off that, and like, just boom, that just looks, it just works really well. I don't have other armor really to test that with. There's just a few things I have to chuck on, but again, that's another thing that a lot of other armors don't really have, is essentially good with other armors, because a lot of them like clip really bad, but as if some of that it works really nice. So anyway, let's have a very close look up to finish off of all the armors. So that is nothing too much on that, nothing special exactly. I do like the little pouch on it. I do like that. It's a really nice touch. Also like that purple, that fine purple sort of gives like a rich, like a royalty rich sort of feel to the armor in one way. Also like you can see all the way inside there. Like that's, can we do it with other armors? No, you can't really. Okay, yeah, so you technically... Yeah, so you see, you can't even do it with other armors, because that's all like stitched up, and like same thing there. It's just all black in there, so it's like, can we? Yeah, so they're all fine. So that's another great thing with this. Like you can actually see inside of it, and again, it's just amazing attention to detail. What about the boots or anything? Oh, look at that! We got the nails in the bottoms of the boots. I will say, I mean, it's the sharpness sort of thing there kind of does look a bit wonky, but it's also, I can understand why it is like that, more so because of its design of it. But like, see, again, you can see all the way sort of down the boots. There's a little bit of clipping, but again, who cares on that? You can't see it from the outside. But again, just the nails in the bottom of the boots to hold them together sort of thing. Again, phenomenal attention to detail. The cloak, I really like that. I kind of wish we had other designs, possibly. That's one thing I was going to say, possibly we could get a change on, is maybe some different designs of either, say, like your factions, like your Dark Brotherhood cloak, and maybe like the companions, Winterhold, stuff like that sort of thing. That would actually be a really cool addition. About the gauntlets, really nice sort of stuff there. Again, you can see all the way inside them. I think most actual modded armors you can see all the way down inside the actual pieces. Don't know why that is. Don't know if that's just easy when designing or what. With that one, I do like the gold, but I will say that's only I wouldn't say it's actually a problem, but it's like, it looks gold, but I'm assuming that's probably the metal, the Dwarven metal ingot type of thing is what's the gold part. But maybe sprinkle a gold ingot into the recipes or something, maybe. So I might even put an arrow, but you can still see there on the right side after the handle sort of thing, that is like a knot in the wood. And you can also see, it looks like there's one, the very first board on the left and the very sort of right board just around the part of the metal. So there's a few wood knots, which again, attention to detail is phenomenal for this stuff. Like, these are really highly grade armor type of thing. Now, what about the skirt? No special emblems. I'm wondering, you can still see it on Farkas there, that symbol. I think that might be on the actual chest, yeah, that piece there. So I do like that. And again, we've got like little hammer symbol things there, so that's also a really cool attention to detail. It's just like, as I said before, I just can't praise this enough. It is really good armor, and that's all the pieces. I'll have to have a quick look at the weapons. So actually, see, funnily enough there, that one is more like silver type of thing. Then the Warhammer's like a golden color. But I will also say, so the Warhammer looks kind of goofy. Especially if I understand the dwarves were essentially all short, because that's what usually dwarves are in most fantasy games, are really the short race, the master blacksmiths. So I don't know how someone like half our size sort of thing, or like a 1/4 or 3/4 of our size, something like that, would even be able to carry something like that. Maybe it's supposed to be just more so made to fit our size sort of thing. I don't know, but anyway, it does kind of look a little bit goofy, but all in all, it's just, again, they're all great. Obviously, not everything has to fit perfectly, but yes, as is one of the best I have looked at so far, or I've actually kind of ever seen, for that reason. That, as horrible as it's going to sound, some armors aren't the greatest. Like, again, I'd put this in like god tier or legendary tier type of armor sets. Like, you've got your sort of you've got your sort of bad armors that people make, which they kind of, you know, there's not a lot of sort of care put in them, I will say. I have seen a few on the websites and that. They're just, again, they're not the greatest, not the worst. Like, I mean, I have seen really bad ones before, I will say. But you've got some kind of your good, your sort of slightly bad. Well, you got your sort of good and your bad ones, and you got your really great ones like this, or legendary, god tier, what you want to call it. Essentially, it's the ones with just so much detail. And again, like I said, like for clipping, a lot of armors clip with other armors. Like, I could chuck on multiple armor sets onto this stuff and it works fine. So that's another thing. How I could chuck it onto the wedding dress, it was all cool. Yeah, it clipped. There was no real clipping. Yeah, it just worked perfectly. So yes, hopefully I see other stuff. And again, the ear holes for the Khajiit. We need more of that. We need more of that stuff in armors. Like, same thing with like the... Actually, where's my towel? Oh my god, my towel's gone. Is that... Is that the cape that's doing that? Cloak? Okay, well, there we go. Okay, well then, that's gonna be my only problem here. I will say, now I've just realized that the cloak gets rid of the tail. I don't know why that is. Maybe that could be fixed. I don't know, because I don't know why that would be. I mean, I've seen cloak mods. I think it's Cloaks of Skyrim, and I'm quite sure your tail sticks out. So that is my only complaint with this mod, is that the tails don't stick out with the cloak on. But I will say I give that a pass, because the ear holes in the helmet is just phenomenal. Anyway, as this, hope one has enjoyed. As is, I will quickly say is, I'm still trying to work out again how I want to do these mods. Again, in terms of my idea is essentially a quick look over them, or quick show off of the armor, looking at the stats, fully modded, or fully maxed out stats type of thing, without being upgraded, or again, what you sort of get. Although again, I don't know, I may end up doing stuff with more. I reset it back to its base stats, and then your maxed out stats, and then your stats when it's like fully maxed out. I don't really know yet. Still not, again, 100% sure on that. Again, leave me some tips on exactly how to do the mod stuff, because again, this one's slightly different, but that's kind of my idea at the moment, is sort of looking at, I'm probably thinking as is the base damage, or yeah, base damage and armor rating, and then the maxed out stats or stuff like that. I don't know, something along those lines. Anyway, as this, hope one has enjoyed. I shall see everybody next time.